are, two moms just hanging out. So this is Alita, my absolutely amazing client. She's awesome and she has been through quite the journey. I'm so proud of her and so impressed. So today we're going to talk a little bit about Alita's journey, which was a long one. But a very interesting one and really exciting. So welcome, Alita.
Thank you so much.
So let's get started. Can you share a little bit about yourself and what drew you to wellness coaching?
Yeah, of course. So I'm Alita. I'm a 30-year-old mom. I have two kids.
And
Cute
kids.
Thank you. Thank you. I came to Renee to start my wellness journey because I found myself struggling a lot with health anxiety. So I had some autoimmune problems in my family, and then 8 months into my marriage, my husband got diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. I had my first child March 2020, so peak of COVID. So we were dealing with like a lot of health and worry, like a lot in my life. So I did find that it was affecting me. So that's when I reached out to Renee to help me.
Yeah. And so we talked a lot.
Yes,
We
did.
started off weekly for the majority
Yes.
of it and really just, yes, there was the past for your context, but it was really action oriented. Like what kind of skills, like new skills, new coping techniques can we do to kind of help you get through kind of the day-to-day, make the day-to-day feel a little bit lighter. So just what was your initial experience with some of the first sessions?
It was very eye-opening. Lots of tears, lots of tears. And honestly, you made it easy. Since the second I met you, I felt drawn to you, and like you're so warm and understanding and caring. So it's the truth. No, it's the truth. It really helped me a lot open up to you, and like so you challenged me. Just bringing everything, all my emotions out to you was hard on its own, but we went through it, and you didn't only challenge me and help me with my like health anxiety. It was in general like who I am as a person and my identity, and you like brought up things that I didn't even think were like an issue. Like I still remember like one of the questions you asked me in like one of our beginning of the sessions were like, who are you, and like what adjectives do you describe yourself as, and like you can't be a mom or a teacher. And I just froze and I was like, wow, like who am I? So it was really eye-opening.
Oh, that's so sweet. Yeah, it was. Yeah,
we did a lot.
We did a lot.
We covered a lot.
We covered a lot in the last few years, and it wasn't the easiest for you. There was a lot of emotional kind of backsets too, right? And it wasn't just like we just went up on a curve. Sometimes we took a few steps back. When you think about dealing with health anxiety, what was one of the techniques or coping strategies that you found you aligned the most or helped you the most?
Right off the bat, like at the beginning, a lot of the meditations were super useful. And I remember it was like, I don't know, it was like 30 seconds or like a minute at the beginning. And just that was hard for me, for somebody who's like dealing with so much in their head. That was difficult, but it was something I always fell back on. And like whenever I was like in a moment of crisis or whatnot, I would just like go to my bed, put on a meditation, and I find like that and like some breathing techniques would really help me. And then like the cold water too. When I was spiraling, it was like just throwing that cold water on my face was one of the techniques too that really helped me at the beginning. Now more so, I don't have a lot of those big episodes anymore. I've really progressed and improved, and one of the things that really stand out to me, which you've always told me, was like how movement is medicine, and that's something that I really like. I exercise, I walk, I do so much, and I do feel that that's true. It's really like medicine for somebody who has anxiety.
So let's pause for that mantra. Movement is medicine. All right. We're going to get a cup, a coffee mug, and some t-shirts, and we're going to brand that. We're going to brand that. Okay. So what was your moment where you were like, wow, like this is actually starting to work? At what point did you kind of have that realization?
Yeah. So I feel like we even spoke about this when I was driving.
Yes. Yeah.
So I had done some like testing for God knows what.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was like constantly at the pediatrician.
There was a lot of doctor's appointments and visits.
My poor kids.
Yeah.
So I had tested one of my kids for God knows what. And I was like driving home one day and like the doctor called me, and I casually just answered the phone and I spoke to the doctor and everything was well and I was like, okay, thank you. And then I hung up and I said, wow, I wasn't nervous answering the phone. I wasn't thinking like, oh my God, my kid has this disease and that disease. It was just like a regular conversation. I didn't have to pull over. Like it was, that's when I was like, okay, like these changes that I'm making are working.
Mm-hmm. And for those of you who don't know you, that seems like a really simple thing.
Yeah.
But for you to drive and hear and answer a doctor's phone call at the same time was actually something you weren't really able to do.
It sounds so simple, but for me it was big at the time.
You would go into like a freeze response, like kind of that fight or flight and a little bit of a freeze response because it was like, okay, the worst the worst is possible. The worst is around the corner. So that was like quite a milestone for you when you were able to continue driving and just take a phone call from a medical office.
Yeah, and it was done so casually. And it was only till after I was like, wow, who am I?
If like family members, like obviously you're a mom and you have your own family support and all that stuff. What would they say is like the biggest change in you?
So I feel like my ability to also just be there for my kids was like a big change. Whereas in the past, like for example, if my daughter had a fever, I would I would just black out and I would just not be able to be there for her. Like I remember once my daughter had a fever for like, I don't know, 4 or 5 days. My mom had to like come in and take her to her house. And I just couldn't be like present for her. So I feel like even for Andrew, like my husband Andrew, he would really have to kick in and take over and make sure the kids are good. Whereas now I feel they're like, wow, like I'm actually stepping into like that mom role and being able to be there for my kids. So,
and I think like, for moms who are kind of watching this, I think they can kind of feel the same in the sense of, they go into that fight or flight, or it's like go, 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 or maybe they don't have that kind of support for anybody, and they kind of, they just need to be there and they're going on no sleep. But for yourself, it was literally a shutdown.
I wasn't able. I was physically not able. I would shake and like I'd have to go to my bed. Like it was to that point.
And I think like that may be hard for some people to kind of, well, what do you mean? Like, of course you just. And that's, as a mom, and we're go, 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 but you weren't even able to be on that autopilot because your body would go into a shutdown of your anxiety and of your fear.
Exactly.
So if you so you kind of, you started to get more of the alignment emotionally and mentally, and what do you feel have been some additional changes? For those of you who don't know your wellness journey, what are some additional changes that, then you were able to kind of also improve?
No, so for sure one of the biggest ones is my physical. So I think it was like after a year of speaking with you weekly, I decided that it was time to make a physical change. So I was improving myself mentally. So I started eating better. As we said, movement is medicine. I started exercising and weight training and doing Pilates and walking. So physically, I mean, I've lost about 60 pounds since January. Thank you. So physically, that was one of them. In addition to like my career, I also made like a little bit of a career change.
A big career change?
Yes.
Okay.
So I stopped teaching. So I'm originally an elementary school teacher. So I stopped that, and now I'm working like behind the scenes in real estate with my husband. So I just feel like once you start improving yourself in one way, you just want to keep leveling. You just want to level up in every aspect of your life. It kind of becomes addicting. So I feel like physical and career is like the biggest ones that I've done.
And through your wellness journey, while we were speaking, you had tried to kind of get your food in order and not just eat on the fly, and it was a struggle.
It was huge. It was Alita, the biggest struggle.
We couldn't even get you to eat an apple in the morning. We couldn't even get you to eat an apple.
She'd be like, Alita, have breakfast. I said, I don't have time.
Yeah, there was never time.
Just an apple.
Just an apple.
We're like, go for a walk. I can't.
And it's not the nutritional advice from my standpoint, was more about the skills of being aware and being present, right? Throughout your day, instead of this constant idea and this like negative narrative or negative feedback loop you had around there was never enough time for you and you were last on the list.
That's it.
One of your homework assignments was to go for a walk by yourself. Tell them how that first assignment went. Tell them how it went.
I mean, I remember sending you videos of my kids screaming and crying.
Yeah.
But now it's like just even showing my kids that it's okay for me to take care of myself, and like it's a whole new lesson for them too, for them in the future. Like I want my daughter to be able to prioritize herself and take care of herself, because if you don't do that, it's hard for you to take care of the rest of your family, which was in the state that I was when we first started talking. It was always like, okay, they're fed, my husband's fed, okay, and like it's okay if I don't eat. Like it's always about me taking care of others, but mentally and physically I was just not who I am, you know. So it's a good lesson even for the kids to,
of course,
to
role
watch.
modeling that type of behavior and being very aware of nutrition. And I know you see a naturopath and he helps with your nutrition, your balance, and you're doing great. You see a personal trainer, but you've tried some other activities as well, like Pilates and yoga. I think you still go to yoga and walking and like the whole movement is medicine thing. So I think it's really, it's honestly, it's pretty amazing. and it wasn't overnight, right? I would say we would probably together, this is probably our third year.
Was it? It's already?
Because October.
Already. Yeah, because we met at the fall market.
We met at a fall market, which markets are great. We met at a fall market in October. And so this will be our third.
3 years.
It's been insane. 3 years.
It's insane.
And so if you had to give one piece of advice for somebody who's thinking about kind of looking at their wellness journey from an emotional and mental state, like, you know, maybe learning some new skills or just, I'm kind of sick of my old habits and patterns, what advice would you give to them?
Honestly, start small. I feel like that's super important. When I first started, it was like super overwhelming. It's like, eat well, walk, do this, meditate, that. Like, I just feel like it's a lot when you first hear all the things you need to do. So I kind of just like scaling it back and like choosing one thing, whether it's like meditating for 5 minutes or like starting with affirmations in the morning. So just start small, bring the habits in, and then like with the compound effect, like everything is just gonna come into place and your life is just going to improve, honestly, in every part of it. So just start small, choose something that's easy for you, and implement that, and then as you go, just keep stacking.
And I think that's why a lot of people like give up, right? Because it's too much, and they think about wellness or exercise is like, I need a trainer to go 4 times a week,
exactly.
which is not the
just
case.
Go for a walk. Just start.
Just go for
10 minutes.
Crying kids and all.
They'll survive.
I
did it.
Her kids were okay when she went for a walk by herself, and their parents, her dad was there.
They were not alone.
And everyone was okay when you got back.
They all
right?
survived.
And they watched mommy kind of exercise and improve and have your own time. Okay, so Alita, you just had a milestone birthday. Yes,
thank you.
Big 33. And so when you think about that milestone birthday, all the accomplishments you've gotten in the last 3 years and where you are now physically, emotionally, and mentally, what's next for you? What's kind of your next goal or what keeps you motivated?
Honestly, I just want to keep growing and evolving and just trying to always be the better version of myself. So whatever I've been doing for this last, it's been what, like 9 months that in my physical journey, I just want to keep growing and evolving. Mental journey too, like my mental state, just keep implementing my techniques and tools that you've given me, and honestly, like I feel really fulfilled when I'm like inspiring others. So like I'm hoping to be able to do that. It's very heartwarming when people reach out to me, like they see the physical part online, so they see my big transformation, and I've been getting so many like messages about it, and me being able to help out those people and give them advice and where to go and who to see and what to do has been super like heartwarming. So I do love that. And that's pretty much it.
I love that. And you're definitely an inspiration because you're a really great example of, you're a mom of 2 kids. You have some support, but it's not like, you have 10 maids and dinner's made for you. You're all day Sunday. You're all day Sunday meal prepping. you were a teacher. Now you've done this huge career shift. You're working, you're busy, you're trying to be the creative side of you. You've taken a lot of risks and done a lot of, you've had a big move even with your house, right? You guys did a big move as well. So you're busy. So I think one of the main things that people struggle with and moms struggle with is like, I just don't have enough time. But I think your advice of like, start small, give yourself that 10 minutes.
100%.
You mentioned earlier meditation, like your first like homework of meditation was 30 seconds.
Yeah, it was
45
and
seconds.
I was like, what?
What? And it was all just to like get into the awareness. It was all just to break the negative feedback loops and just kind of build those skills of like, hold on, how am I actually feeling? Right. So it's worked for you. It's so
Thank you.
Oh, I'm so
you were like a big part of it.
I have all the feels.
But honestly, you were like the biggest part of it. And if it weren't for you, I don't think I'd be where I am today, honestly. I really mean.
So I want to drink my coffee. Okay.
Well, cheers.
So thank you so much. I really appreciate you sharing your story and putting yourself out there, because physical journeys are a little bit easier to document and talk about because you can kind of see the results on the outside. And then from like a social media perspective, it's kind of easy, like before and afters and all that stuff. But you like, taking this on willingly and being like wanting to share your journey and being vulnerable, clearly you're in the mental state to be able to do that, which is awesome. But such a like great inspiration for others. And that, sometimes there's a stigma about our wellness journey and talking. Why would I talk to someone about your feelings? But
of course,
I think we did more than just talk. It was really about like exercising and techniques and
just like growing as a person, So
and like the mental exercising, right? Like how can you train your brain to like change its perception on a scenario and not always see the worst case and maybe be like, oh, okay, hold on. I don't have to go into an anxiety attack when a doctor calls me to give me results. Right?
Exactly.
And I don't think you've been to see a doctor in a little
Oh my God.
a little while.
My pediatrician is probably wondering where I am.
Where is she?
Did she disappear?
And this is just to say, like, Alina goes to the doctor when she needs to.
I do.
She does, but it's just the over, right? Yes. The over intentional for every little thing.
It's like a little dot. I would rush to the pediatrician.
You would rush, and that's okay, and it's always good for parents to like, double check and to check. But I think in your case, just be very clear for everybody, it was mind numbing. It was physically.
I was physically getting numb.
I was physically. It was one of your main symptoms, right? Is that you physically actually feel numbness in your body. So I think that's just really important to know that when, if everyone's watching this, it's like, okay, but what's the big deal? Yeah, I run to the pediatrician too, and that's fine. But it was more than that.
No, it was
the angst before, it was the angst after, it was everything around
but
health.
Like, it was just like my mind always going to like the worst case scenario. So I feel like that is what was draining me and what was causing me like numbing feelings. It was like my kids are like, God forbid, like I'm saying my kids are dying. Every little symptoms they would have, my mind would go to that. Extreme, and like one of the coping mechanisms and tools you gave me, which I still use today, was like the best case, the worst case, and the most likely case. So that just doing that mental exercise when something would just be presented is just like, okay, it's just a cold. Like,
it's most likely just a cold.
It's most likely just a cold. They don't have leukemia. It's just a cold.
I think they sneezed twice and there's some allergies. There were some dust bunnies in the air. But that is, that's even just mentally being able to do that. And just do that quick checklist because now you're used to it. It's just like, oh, hold on, let me this is the actual scenario.
Exactly.
So that's awesome. So thank you so much. Thank you, Alita.
Thank you
for sharing your journey.
And
this has been great. And I hope that others that are watching this are like, if you can do it as a busy mom of two and changing careers and the wife title, all the good things, if you can do it, they can do it too.
Of course they can. Thank you so much, Renee.